It's been Giannis talk for the last 24 hours around the New York Knicks, and we have new major updates around him, an injury that he suffered last night in a non-contact fashion, and more inside information from the NBA beat reporters. Before we dive into that, though, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are on the road to 82,000 subscribers. We are 259 diehard Knicks fans away from reaching our goal. So if you love this team, you want free videos every day, as well as live watch parties on game days, hit that sub button for me. This is New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Giannis Antetokounmpo suffered a non-contact injury last night that is being labeled as a calf strain by Milwaukee, and Shams Charania dropping this just moments ago. Giannis is expected to be sidelined for approximately 2 to 4 weeks with a calf strain. And I think this is a major tipping point in these conversations. If you did not know, one, subscribe to the channel. We did a video yesterday. Giannis and his agent are meeting with the Bucks to come to a resolution quickly about whether it is best for him and the Bucks to stay a part of this organization. So how does this affect the whole trade saga? How does this affect the Milwaukee Bucks and really the drama that they have with Giannis? I actually think that this is the best thing for Milwaukee. Giannis already is coming back from a groin injury, so he gets to rest up that injury as well as the calf injury. He kind of gets to go away for 2 to 4 weeks. Doesn't have to speak to the media for 2 to 4 weeks. And the Milwaukee Bucks can start to do some work behind the scenes without all of the other nonsense surrounding this situation. How does it impact the teams trying to trade for him? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. We do know this. Shout out to Ian Begley of SNY and shout out to CP, the franchise of Knicks Fan TV. They both put out reports yesterday that pretty much said they don't expect for the New York Knicks to trade for Giannis right now. That the New York Knicks aren't really working towards a trade for Giannis right now, and that they don't see it as a likely avenue right now. But as we know, things can change in the NBA like that. Luka was on the Mavericks one day, and then the very next day, he was not. Things can change. And I do think that if Giannis is forcing a trade, and the Knicks are number one on his list, Leon Rose should do whatever it takes to get it done. Thing is, does whatever it takes to get it done, is that enough in the eyes of the Milwaukee Bucks? The New York Knicks are a team right now that are a little bit low in the asset pool. They've made some major trades. They've traded their young guys. They've traded their picks. And I come back to this. If the Knicks are going to acquire Giannis in a trade, they are going to need Giannis to not request a trade, which he's already done, not request a trade with a team that he wants to play with, being the Knicks. He's already done that. They need him to force his way here. And they're going to need it to get ugly, to be quite frank with you. They need him to use his power and really abuse his power in that relationship. The contract situation is something that he can use as leverage in this spot. We know, though, that the Knicks and Bucks talked in the offseason about getting a trade done. And shout out to Chris Persianen, who covers the Knicks for Clutch Points in the NBA. Awesome dude, super nice guy. Says Milwaukee made an offer to New York, including both Giannis and Kyle Kuzma. So there were offers. And also, Ian Begley reported last night, the New York Knicks made an offer to the New York Knicks. So the Knicks made an offer, the Bucks made an offer. It didn't materialize into anything. Windhorst said this on ESPN today. The Knicks would potentially be on Giannis's list, but the feel would be that Giannis might expand his list. This comes on the heels of Shams saying yesterday the Knicks pretty much had their chance in the offseason in the exclusive negotiating window. But now it is going to be opened up to other teams, and it is expected that other teams are going to be seriously interested. A lot more to talk about, even some trade scenarios that could unfold for the Knicks. But if you want to see it happen, if you want Giannis on the Knicks alongside Jalen Brunson, hit that thumbs up icon for me right now. I will say this. I think the longer this draws out and drags out, and if there is a world where Giannis ends this season as a Buck and he is going to be traded in the offseason, I think that greatly helps the New York Knicks' chances of landing the multi-time MVP, the world champion, and the finals MVP. Because right now, the Knicks just don't have, I think, what it takes pick-wise to get it done. I do think they have enough player-wise to get it done. But you could only trade one first-round pick right now. You could trade 3 first-round pick swaps, and you have 8 second-rounders. And to be honest with you, Milwaukee is going to want all of this, and rightfully so. It's Giannis. He's a top 5 player in the world. You should be trying to get back a king's ransom. So why do I say that in the offseason it would be a better opportunity? Because then the Knicks could trade the 2026 first-round pick that they do own. They also will be able to touch that first-round pick that is 7 years out from the 2026 summer. So that would be the 2033 first-round pick. You can only trade first-round picks 7 years in advance. So when the season ends, it opens up another year, and the Knicks could then have 3 tradable first-round picks. Well, technically 2 because you own the Washington pick, and that's going to result in 2 first-round picks. And the Knicks can't trade Mikal Bridges until late January. They signed that contract extension, I believe it was in late July or early August, and you can't trade him for 6 months, and that lines up with late January, right before the NBA trade deadline. So the Knicks would not be able to put their best package on the plate of the Milwaukee Bucks right now if it were to happen. So I think the longer it drags out, the more likely it is that he could be a New York Knick. And they're going to have to find a way to send out $54.1 million in a trade, because that is what Giannis is making right now. This is the kicker, though. This is why I do believe that there is a chance the Knicks are the leaders in the clubhouse. We've seen stars use and abuse their power. We are in a player empowerment era in the National Basketball Association. You don't even have to be a free agent anymore to control where you go, especially when you're in a situation like this where you are technically only under contract for 1 more season. Giannis can go and tell the Bucks, you can trade me to another team, but make sure that team knows I am going to decline my player option, and you will only have me on your team for the 2026 and 2027 season. And the biggest part, I won't re-sign with any team except for the New York Knicks. That is what Giannis is going to have to say if he wants to be a Knick. Because, yes, Milwaukee owes him that. They owe him a favor, essentially, doing right by him. And if Giannis says, look, maybe the Heat want to go out there and trade for me. Maybe the Spurs want to go out in there and trade for me. I'll play out my 1 year with them, but I'm not going to re-sign. I'm going to be a free agent, and then I'm still going to go play for the New York Knicks. That's what's going to happen. I want to go back to the Persianen report that there was an offer sent from Milwaukee to New York that involved Kyle Kuzma. So let's talk Kuzma. He makes $22.4 million this year, and then he makes $20.3 million in 2026, 2027, and he will be a free agent in the summer of 27. So if you add the Kyle Kuzma money of $22.4 million and you add the $54.1 million that Giannis is going to make, I'm bad at math, but 54 plus 22 is 76. Around $76.5 million. Mental math right there. Shout out to Marsh. Knicks would have to essentially send out $76.5 million if it is a 2-team trade and if they are acquiring both Giannis and Kuzma, and as well as if it is a 3-team trade. So how do you get to $76.5 million? Let's take a look at the New York Knicks cap sheet at this point. If you're trying to get to $76.5 million, the best way to probably get there is to have Karl Anthony Towns' outgoing salary of $53.1 million. That leaves still $23.4 million needed to be traded out. Well, Mikal Bridges, he makes $24 million. So you're almost there. You could do the $53.1 million outgoing as well as the $39.5 million of OG Anunoby outgoing to get to $92.6. And then you subtract the $76.5. The Knicks would have to add $16.1 more million. So think about it like this. The Bucks are going to want a serious package back, even if Giannis puts his foot down and he does the whole force the thing to the Knicks. They're still going to want Mikal and OG. maybe it's Cat and one of those guys, Cat and OG, Cat and McHale, they're going to want to get back a lot of players of talent. And people would say, well, why would they want OG? Why would they want McHale? They're not trying to win a championship. Didn't we see Desmond Bane just go for 5 first-round picks? Didn't we just see Mikal Bridges go for 5 first-round picks? They could trade Bridges over here again. They could trade OG again. Didn't we see Drew Holiday just get traded from the Portland Trail Blazers a year ago or 2 years ago, then to the Boston Celtics? Just because you trade for a player doesn't mean you have to sign up for a lifetime contract. You can then flip that player to another team in weeks or months later for the assets that you actually want back in a trade. And if you're sending out all that money, you still got to get the money back. So the idea that you are decimating your team, it is fair to a degree to say that, but it's not like you're sending out 4 players and only getting 1 player back. That's not going to happen. As many players you send out, most likely you're going to get back those same players, just probably not nearly as good as the players that you do have. I have a couple more closing thoughts on today's show, but I want to let you know this New York Knicks hoodie major sale was $65. Now it's $38. And the way you can get that deal is by going to this link, chatsports.com/NYK hoodie. Get that New York Knicks hoodie today. I continue to stand 10 toes down on this. If you have the opportunity to go out and trade for Giannis, you do whatever it takes, except trade Jalen Brunson. There's been some ideas out there that they could. That is never going to happen. The Knicks would never trade Jalen Brunson unless he wants to be traded. The idea is to pair Giannis alongside Jalen. And I am actually willing to do whatever it takes to get Giannis. If I got to trade OG and McHale, you know what? I hate to do so. But if I can have a team, a big 3 of Giannis, Jalen, and Karl Anthony Towns as my 3 with Josh Hart and Miles McBride, you know what? I'm going to war with that. And I also think the Bucks would probably want Miles because he is a young, talented player on a cheap contract. The question is Leon Rose ready to push all of his chips? And I mean all of them. He's pushed some of them in, the majority of them. But going after Giannis literally sets you up for a championship or bust criteria from the owners. And you got to ask yourself, if I trade for Giannis, do I know that I can win it all? Another question you have to ask yourself is, can this current Knicks team, without Giannis, the team that played last night against Charlotte, can that team win it all? I think that they can, but I think it's going to be tough to go and beat any team coming out of the West, likely the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think, though, with Giannis and Brunson, I know they can. I think they can with Brunson, Cat, OG, and McHale. I know they can beat that team with Giannis and Brunson. Will it be easy? No. Will it take the Knicks' best game and playoff performances yet? Will Giannis need to be his A-plus self and Brunson need to be his A-plus self? Yes. But I believe the Knicks have a better chance to win a title if their top 2 players are Giannis and Brunson compared to Brunson and any of the other players you have on this team. And isn't that the ultimate goal? To do whatever it takes to win a championship? It is. That's exactly what Leon Rose said when he fired Tom Thibodeau. We are going to do whatever it takes to win a championship. Well, Giannis is there. Go get him. And let's put a banner in the rafters. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_.